So now Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So in this video we will talk about foregut. As I told you in the previous video that we divide the gut into three parts. The proximal one that makes the foregut, and this one is supplied by the celiac trunk. Now this foregut, it makes the pharynx, esophagus, stomach and duodenum till the opening of bile duct. But there's some accessory organs that are also formed, like the liver, the biliary apparatus that holds the bile duct, the gallbladder, etc., and the pancreas. Now, first of all, we will talk about the development of esophagus, and we will skip with pharynx because pharynx is not a part of the GIT tract. Now the development of esophagus, your this is, for example, I took a piece from here and this is your foregut. So from your foregut you have firstly the oropharyngeal membrane, as I told you in the previous video. Then the first portion is going to be for the pharynx. Just at the ending of the pharynx you will have the segment of esophagus starting now. So that segment of esophagus is caudal to the pharynx. Okay, so immediately caudal to pharynx we have the segment of esophagus, from where the esophagus will develop from the foregut. Now actually if we see the tube, if you have the tube like this, if you have two tubes like this in running, this one anterior one is your trachea of the respiratory tract, and this one posterior one is your esophagus from the alimentary tract. These two are firstly joined together, but at some point in time they have a septum that comes between them, and that septum separates them. So the trachea becomes anteriorly and the esophagus becomes posteriorly. So the septum that divides them is the tracheoesophageal septum initially. Now they are saying that this esophagus, it was initially short, but after the development of heart and lungs, which are now going to occupy your cardiac cavity or the thoracic region, your esophagus, it elongates. Now the esophagus, it maintains its final length during 7th week. And as I told you, epithelium and glands, they were made from the endoderm and the surrounding mesenchyme, if you've watched the previous video. But now these epithelium and glands, they start to proliferate, or they start to grow during that 7th week, and they grow this much that firstly the esophagus that was open like this, it is closed by membrane. It is completely filled by that membrane, and the tube is completely obliterated. But at the 8th week there is recanalization. That membrane, it starts to undergo necrosis is that its cell starts to disappear, and then there is a lumen formed. Why does this thing happen? Firstly there was open, then the hole is filled with membrane, then the membrane undergoes recanalization in the 8th week, and a lumen is formed. Why does this happen? So to make the interior of the esophagus very smooth and the lumen a very well defined lumen. So for the smoothing of interior and for defining the lumen, we have the recanalization process taking place. Now if you have the esophagus like this, I have now straightened the tube, and it has been divided into three segments: the cranial 1/3 portion, the middle 1/3 portion, and the caudal 1/3 portion. Now this cranial 1/3 portion, it is made up of striated or skeletal muscles. Now this muscle is coming from the 4th and 6th pharyngeal arches. The middle one is mixed muscle, and the caudal 1/3, it is made up of smooth muscles, and these smooth muscles are coming from splanchnic mesenchyme. Now since the first portion, the 1/3 of the cranial 1/3 portion, it is formed from, since the striated muscles are formed from the crane, are making the cranial 1/3 portion, and they are formed from 4th and 6th pharyngeal arches, they are supplied by a nerve which is the vagus nerve or the 10th cranial nerve. Now in the next video we will discuss the clinicals related to esophagus development. One is esophageal stenosis, other one is the esophageal atresia. Stay tuned because I will explain these two in the next video inshallah. So please like, share and subscribe to my channel.